greatest barriers for ending suicide, we can look at it systemically, right? And then we can also look at it individually, right? So one of the words that comes up a lot is stigma, right? There's stigma around just talking about suicide. I talked a moment ago about these myths that are deeply ingrained into into our communities, especially for our parents and caregivers, and even for some of our educators. We get quite nervous when it comes to talking about suicide with young people. What we know is that the more often we uplift these conversations, we reduce stigma, we reduce anxiety, and we ignite hope by saying, hey, this is a safe conversation to have. So that's more of a systemic issue, right? We struggle to even talk about and have a high degree of awareness around what is mental health, what is mental illness, what is dysregulation, right? And so most certainly, if we define suicide as the greatest potential mental health crisis, we can see where stigma would most certainly play a very prominent role within our ability to even engage around these topics. Now, if we take that to an individual level, let's say that there's an individual that's struggling with thoughts of suicide, and we think about this from a social construct, right? There's a high degree of fear. What am I going to get on the other end of this support? There's a high degree of concern when it comes to judgment, being vulnerable, right? There's a lot of shame when it comes to talking about this. And you will hear me repeat this multiple times, loves. If you are standing in front of someone and you ask them directly and genuinely about suicide, and they say yes to you, that they're struggling with thoughts of suicide or they've had lived experience of suicide, that is courage. But that's not a conversation that we have, right? So we really want to make sure that we're uplifting that so that we can reduce these barriers, which allows systems to change their procedures. It allows individuals to have more effective conversations. It allows us to shift social norms. So if I'm worried about you, regardless of if I know you from Adam,